Okay, you will be driving the getaway car, I'll get the money. All right, perfect. And break. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. We're starting? Okay, I'm at work. In case you didn't know, I'm a big dino fan, and I am not the only one. The dino movie phenomenon first hatched like a dinosaur egg with 1925's The Lost World and just kept evolving. While dinosaurs currently only exist as skeletons in museums, some of the most amazing megalizards have been reanimated many times in films like Jurassic Park, Godzilla, Land of the Lost, and King Kong. And look, we can't all be raptors and T-Rexes, you know, some of us have to be plant eaters, but there's a lot more to choose from when it comes to cool dinosaurs. And so here, in no particular order, are the coolest movie dinosaurs that will never go extinct. You might not think the Brachiosaurus from Jurassic Park is particularly badass. It eats plants, it sort of hangs out, long neck, funny head, but just imagine if this guy stepped on you. For Jurassic Park, special effects artists at the Stan Winston School brought the head and neck to life as a 7.5-foot animatronic controlled by 6 puppeteers at once. The rest was CGI. It was the most massive Jurassic Park puppet built without hydraulics. For a dinosaur, that's pretty big. Let's also talk about the Dimetrodons in Journey to the Center of the Earth, because they look so alive, and you know, they are. What look like monsters swarming the beach of a subterranean ocean are pretty much iguanas in Halloween costumes. This was 1959, and in the era of stop-motion animation and rubber suits, director Henry Levin probably just wanted to do something different. So he stuck a prop fin on a couple of pretty harmless lizards to make them look more menacing. Whatever he dressed them up in, they're still very obviously iguanas, and not just like terrible actors. The Dilophosaurus wasn't nearly as huge as some of the other species in Jurassic Park, but it still had plenty of claws and teeth. And that. It was also genetically engineered with venom glands that could spit lethal mucus almost 20 feet. Dilophosaurus was the star in what was possibly the greatest revenge scene ever. After programmer Dennis Nedry smuggles dinosaur eggs out of the park, it's almost as if it reads his mind and fires a huge glob of poisonous slime right in his face. You have to admit, it kinda served him right.
No wonder you're extinct. I'm gonna run you over when I come back down.
But let's talk about the T-Rex. The dinosaur for the bloodthirsty 7-year-old boy in all of us. Nedry may have gotten what he deserved, but one of the most epic battles between a dinosaur and primate has to be the showdown between T-Rex and King Kong in the original 1933 King Kong movie. Oh buddy, the tiny arms, guess who wins that one? Speaking of T-Rex, the first of many times that paleontologist Rick Marshall almost gets eaten in Land of the Lost is when he insults one. There's a reason he named it Grumpy.
It's okay. You can't cross. He has terrible depth perception. He thinks this chasm is 1,000,000 miles long.
After all, his brain is the size of a walnut. Sure, his sense of smell may be acute, but eyesight, hearing, all of his higher functions, completely compromised by that walnut-sized brain pan.
While the Tyrannosaurus brain was literally the size of a walnut, and he was right that the king of the dinosaurs probably had awful depth perception, you don't exactly want to say that when you're within attack distance of one who's actually able to understand that it's being gossiped about. Besides an appetite for human flesh, and Triceratops flesh, and any flesh that's available when it's hungry, one of the most disturbing things about Jurassic Park's iconic T-Rex is that he'll walk in on you at the most inconvenient moment. Oh, and don't let him anywhere near your car, because no insurance is going to cover that. And then there are the VELOCIRAPTORs, the terrifying dinosaur that has something for everyone. They're smart, they're fierce, they still might rip your head off if you come too close. If you manage to get by those teeth, the VELOCIRAPTORs in Jurassic Park and Jurassic World are actually pretty clever.
Clever girl.
While we can't be sure if anyone would be able to interact with these creatures and come out of it in one piece, Owen Grady trained Blue in Jurassic World, and he got to keep all of his limbs. The question is, when Owen finds her again in Fallen Kingdom, will she remember her trainer isn't food? This list wouldn't be complete without Godzilla because even though nobody is entirely sure what species he is, Godzilla is still a dinosaur. Yeah, a mutant dinosaur that slept underground for millions of years until its genes got warped by nuclear sludge, but started as a dinosaur, so that's a dinosaur. Now you know where that atomic breath comes from. Over the years, he's evolved from a rubber suit that smashes Tokyo to a CGI behemoth that still smashes Tokyo. Godzilla might be scary, but that suit came with plenty of horror stories of its own. The original weighed 220 pounds, which made it difficult for actor Haruo Nakajima to move and even breathe. It led to near-death experiences for Nakajima and the actors who risked their lives in that suit after him. And Godzilla isn't the only prehistoric mutant crawling around Tokyo. Everything in the Godzilla universe seems to have had at least some exposure to radioactive chemicals, but they all have reptilian roots. Some are enormous flying reptiles, some are things with more than one head. Rodans are monster pteranodons that even dare to mock Godzilla. People, do not mock Godzilla. The name Rodan was originally adapted from radon because it was adapted from pteranodon and radiation. You see what they did there? They mashed them all together. The spelling had to be changed because it got too easily confused with the element radon. Radiation made this creature hatch from an egg that should have been fossilized ages ago. Just in case that didn't make you want to evacuate Tokyo already, Rodans hate humans. Like, they literally hate humans. Godzilla's arch nemesis, Ghidarah, is technically supposed to be a 1,000-year-old dragon, but he's dinosaur enough for most of us. I mean, aren't dinosaurs just really like dragons who can't breathe fire? I kind of think so. Anyway, you'd think that at least one of those heads would get Godzilla in the jugular during their final showdown and destroy all monsters. But Godzilla wins, of course, because Godzilla always wins. But let's ask the really important questions. What was King Koopa from the Super Mario Bros. Video game? We get that he was a turtle with spikes until he morphed into a dino humanoid for the 1993 Super Mario movie, but also looks like a human with just too much hair gel. Just forget how terrible that movie was for a second and think back to that awesome scene when Mario and Luigi exposed the lizard within by blasting it with laser guns. He devolved into a T-Rex, and you must be pretty fierce if a T-Rex is what you devolve into, and then was reduced to primordial ooze. Dennis Hopper, who played the Man-Beast, admitted that it was the worst role ever. It's a truly terrible movie. I cannot recommend it enough. Not to be undone by all this lizarding is GRIMLOCK from Transformers: Age of Extinction. He isn't a flesh and blood dinosaur, he's a metal monster, and actually has got to be both one of the coolest dinosaurs and robots ever. He's a Dinobot that breathes fire, and Optimus Prime gets to ride him. He also likes munching on cars. But at the very least, GRIMLOCK doesn't care much for the taste of humans. INDOMINUS Rex, on the other hand, will eat just about anything. The big bad from Jurassic World is one dinosaur that you'll never find in a museum because he was never extinct. Kind of. It was never supposed to exist, so that's a loophole. When Dr. Henry Wu merged several types of dino DNA to create this hybrid in a petri dish, he meant the 50-foot killing machine to be live entertainment for everyone who was dying to see fiercer dinosaurs. Then people actually started dying. Let's just say making the main attraction of a theme park already crawling with things that could have you for breakfast was not the best idea. Movie dinosaurs may have gone through quite a few stages of evolution, but they've always survived the box office. Which means one thing. That's right, team. As if the world wasn't scary enough, we here at Sci-Fi Wire encourage you to always watch your back, because life finds a way. And so do dinosaurs. They will f you up.